today I just wanted to talk a little bit about health insurance. You know, everybody loves health insurance. I think it's very important to talk about this because I know everyone has issues with this. Your doctor prescribes you a medicine. Health insurance wants authorization to know if you can have that medicine, if it's really important for you to have that medicine, and or a test. You need a test, and they need approval for that test from your doctor. Is it medically necessary for them to get this test? Just authorizations, approvals from health insurance. In my opinion, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. It puts off the appointment for the patient. It puts off them being able to get that paid for through the doctor. Sometimes the patient, it puts off the appointment in general for the patient because they can't go to that appointment until they get the approval. A lot of times we still do go, and then it just puts off the insurance actually paying for that appointment. But it's very silly, in my opinion, if a doctor is recommending a service or a medication to a patient, that insurance should definitely cover that without question. That doctor, I don't think a lot of times would recommend medications to patients for no reason. They obviously need them, especially tests. Most doctors don't just recommend tests without the patient actually needing them for some reason or another, especially diagnosis of conditions. And it's just a way, I think, that insurance can get out of trying not to pay for services, especially for people who are chronically ill or, just have life-threatening things. A lot of times it can hurt the patient in the long run and leave the patient having to pay out of pocket for medication that they desperately need. And it puts off the patient having to wait for the approval, especially for medications, in order for them to be able to receive that medication because they cannot pay out of pocket for it because the medications are ridiculously priced. I think this is a huge problem for everybody in America, especially because, the insurance companies just don't understand. And some people, they want you to take the generic form of it, but some people's bodies don't respond because, yes, while the active ingredient is the same, some of the additives are different and it doesn't absorb correctly into the patient's body. And then you're stuck not feeling well or still having symptoms because it's not working correctly. And all you would need is the actual name brand of that medication. I found that out with my thyroid medication. I was, taking a generic form of it, and it just wasn't cutting it. It wasn't doing the job that the actual name brand of that medication was doing. So I had to make sure that that doctor, I got that authorization for that name brand so that it would do the job. And I don't think insurance companies really understand that. If they do, it's just their way to try to get a cheaper form so that they don't have to pay that price. And I just think that's really sad for the patients because it's not really affecting the doctors, it's affecting the patients. And in the long run, everything that's wrong with the medical system these days doesn't really affect the doctors. It doesn't really affect the healthcare system or the insurance companies. It affects the patients. And it's really sad, and I hate to see going through this myself and having, any kind of denial and having to pay stuff out of pocket or having to wait on medications to get it approved through insurance so that I don't have to fully pay for it out of pocket. It's just really frustrating, and I hate to know because if I'm going through it, I know others are going through it too. So it's just really heart-wrenching to know that other people, not just myself, are going through the same thing that I am going through. And not only that, adults go through it, kids go through it too. And it's just so sad to see this going on in a country that it should not be happening in. So I hope that you got something from this video. I know that, like I said, this is just kind of a video, not really awareness, but it might help some younger children or younger adults who, don't really have their own insurance, and is, kind of something that you have to look forward to. But it's just kind of frustration getting it out there, venting about it, because we all struggle with it or have struggled with it at some point. If you haven't, then I'm so glad for you and happy for you because you must not have had very many medical issues, or you have extremely good insurance, and I am so happy for you. Thank you again. I hope that you have a blessed day. Thank you.